Well, happy Wednesday, everybody. I'm so glad you made it today. Crazy rainy week, right? Hot in some sections of the United States. Well, we are continuing with Things Happen in Threes, our August journal. The September journal, if you haven't already seen, the link is below in the description or details. If you're watching in YouTube in Patty's War Room, it's definitely in the details. Patty's War Room and Instagram. It's in the little description or the title for the videos today. All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining us today. And for our Wednesday, August 28th, we're in week 4 on Wednesday. And you know, God does things in threes. And he even brings storms in threes. I bet you didn't realize that. Even in the book of Jonah, which, you know, if you're new to the Bible and finding things, if you look between Obadiah and Micah in the Old Testament, you're actually going to find the book of Jonah, which talks about Jonah and the storm of Jonah and how he got eaten by a whale. But the reality is God talks about the 3 types of storms he can bring into our lives. One is perfecting the storm. Now, he does allow storms or hardships to come into our lives because he's trying to make us stronger. And that's the first kind of storm. The second type of storm is one that protects us, one that shows us he's taking care of us, one that shows us he is by our side. One of the more famous storms that he brought into our life, or showed us that he was with us and by us, is when he was on the Sea of Galilee with the disciples, when he told the storms to stop. When he was sound asleep, but there was a huge storm and the disciples were a little bit nervous. And that was protecting us from the storms. Also did that with Jonah. Huge storm, swallowed him up, saved him from the storm. And he also has a third type of storm that he protects us with. And it's called the correcting storm. Because you know, sometimes we do it to ourselves. We bring the storms up on our own selves. We do stupid things. We make poor decisions. We think we've got the situation in hand and we don't need God, or we're running from God instead of running towards God. But the reality is he's got to let us make stupid decisions, just like our parents let us make stupid decisions because we have to learn. Well, God lets us to do that. But what we have to remember, sometimes we remember before we do it, but we do it anyway, that we need to run to God and not run from God. So if you need to kind of think about that, remember, the book of Jonah is between Obadiah and Micah in the Old Testament, just in case you forget. So let's talk about our 3 things we need to do each day. First and foremost is the 3 people. Remember, write their names down here. How did you reach out to them today? How did you let somebody know they're not alone today? Did you email them? Did you text them? Did you make extra for a meal today and bring them something? Did you just call them and talk to them and let them know that they're not alone today? That there is somebody out there thinking about them? Make sure you write them down. Sometimes you've been praying about a situation with them already, and they actually got an answer to prayer. Okay? Write that down, because it's important to remember when God answers a prayer, because you want to share with that joy with them too. You don't just want to share the burdens, you want to share the joy. So do that. Now, the second thing that we do every day is in creating a closer bond with God, is we want to get and know his word better. And one of the ways we do that is bringing his verses or his word closer to our hearts. And how we can do that is getting to know his word. And the way to better remember his word, and bring it closer to our memory or our forefront to our mind, is by getting to know his word. And how we can remember it better is by reading it, writing it, and applying it. So the verse for today is Hebrews 2:14 and 15. Since the children have flesh and blood, he too shared in their humanity, so that by his death he might break the power of him who holds the power of the death, that is, the devil, and free those all of their lives were held in the slavery of the fear of death. So remember, you want to write the verse over here to help remember it. And then down here, apply it. What does that verse mean to you today? Does it have a specific meaning today? Remember, sometimes you might hear a verse for the first time and it means nothing. It doesn't really have a whole lot of meaning to you. So just write that down. Sometimes you'll read a verse like you've read it for the first time and it just triggers a whole lot of new meaning to you. Write that down here too, because you always want to remember when something is fresh and new as well. And then over here in the notes section, remember in the month of August, we're asking God a question. Something that's going on around us that we want to know the answer to. Sometimes God might answer it, and go ahead and write the answer. But sometimes we just want to know. We just want to release that. Sometimes if you just ask God that question, it's like asking the friend a question that we've just met, that we want to get to know better. You know, when you just meet somebody, you're full of questions. Where do you come from? What do you do? How many kids do you have? Where do you live? Why rent? Why buy? Why do you like your new job? What color do you like? You know, why did you pick a Suburban over, you know, a small compact car? Why 5 bedrooms, not 2? All of these kinds of, why do you like a Chihuahua instead of a Great Dane? You know, we've got lots of questions when we meet a new friend. What kind of questions do you have for God? All right, guys. Well, you have a great Wednesday. Don't forget, September's coming. Make sure you've got your daily devotional ready to go. You guys have a good day. Don't forget, like, love, and share on these Facebook and YouTube pages. Bye-bye.